The Roman Empire, spanning Europe, North Africa, and parts of Asia, is renowned for its vast reach. While we visualize it on modern maps, the Romans likely lacked scaled maps as we know them. This raises intriguing questions. How did they gauge their empire's size, plan conquests, and navigate across 3 continents without accurate maps? Did they use some form of maps, or rely on other methods? This video delves into these mysteries, uncovering what it was like to travel in ancient Rome. The concept of scaled maps in ancient Rome. Modern maps are meticulously scaled, providing a proportional representation of distances. They allow travelers to calculate not only the best routes, but also alternative paths and their relative durations. Without scaled maps, navigation, especially across unfamiliar terrain, becomes challenging and prone to errors. Travelers would need to rely heavily on local knowledge or verbal directions to find their way. Archaeological evidence, however, suggests that the Romans did not have scaled maps like those we use today. Despite their remarkable achievements in engineering, urban planning, and road construction, no scaled Roman maps have been found to date. Some scholars argue that the lack of surviving maps does not necessarily mean they did not exist. They point to the empire's advanced infrastructure and organized administration as indirect evidence that some form of cartography must have existed. Yet, the surviving artifacts and documents suggest otherwise. The Romans seem to rely more on written records and symbolic representations than on accurate cartographic tools. Mosaic representations, artistic interpretations over accuracy. One notable artifact that offers insights into Roman mapping is a mosaic discovered in Amidara, near Carthage. Created in the 3rd or 4th century, this artwork depicts over a dozen Greek islands in the Aegean Sea. While visually stunning, the mosaic's geographical inaccuracies are immediately apparent. For instance, Idalium and Paphos, 2 cities on the island of Cyprus, are depicted as separate islands. Similarly, Cnidus, a peninsula, is misrepresented as an island. Scholars believe that this mosaic was not intended as a practical map, but rather as a symbolic representation of the mythical journey of the goddess Venus. It served an artistic or cultural purpose rather than a navigational one. Administrative documents. Lists, not maps. Another significant artifact that sheds light on Roman geographical knowledge is the Notitia Dignitatum, a document listing military units and their locations. While this document resembles a map in its layout, it is not geographically accurate. The positions of forts and provinces appear to have been arranged for aesthetic reasons rather than practical use. This further suggests that Roman mapping practices were more about administrative organization than actual navigation. The Madaba mosaic, a closer step toward maps. A more advanced example of Roman mapping is the 6th century Madaba mosaic found in a Byzantine church in Jordan. This mosaic provides a detailed depiction of Jerusalem and other cities, stretching from Sidon to the Nile Delta. With its intricate design, it appears closer to what we might consider a map. However, it lacks roads and varies widely in scale. For instance, some distances are exaggerated up to 25 times their actual size, making it unreliable for navigation. Scholars believe this mosaic was created for biblical reference rather than practical travel. The Roman solution: travel itineraries. In the absence of practical maps, the Romans developed an efficient system of written itineraries. These were essentially lists of towns, cities, and stations along a route, accompanied by approximate distances. Itineraries became indispensable tools for long-distance travel, particularly as the empire expanded and the demand for movement among soldiers, traders, and officials grew. Early itineraries were simple and direct, listing the stations along major roads. A notable example is found in the Historia Augusta, which describes how Emperor Alexander Severus issued detailed travel instructions for his soldiers. These instructions included a sequential list of stations, camps, and supply points. Such itineraries ensured that even large armies could navigate vast territories effectively without visual maps. Navigating the empire's roads. For ordinary Roman citizens, travel itineraries were equally essential. A surviving example of a Roman itinerary describes a civilian journey from Turin to Milan. It lists overnight stops, mansio, and remount stations, mutatio, covering a total distance of 213 kilometers over 7 days. This itinerary highlights the efficiency of Roman travel, even for civilians. Public roads were well maintained and connected major cities, making them the preferred choice for long-distance journeys. The cursus publicus, Rome's state-funded transport system. For officials and military personnel, the cursus publicus offered a state-funded transportation network. Established by Emperor Augustus, this system included private roads, fresh mounts, and secure accommodations. It allowed users to travel quickly and efficiently across the empire. However, access to the cursus publicus was restricted to those with special permission, such as high-ranking officials and messengers on state business. Civilians had to rely on public roads, which, while slower, were safer and provided access to amenities in major cities. The Antonine Itinerary, a comprehensive guide. By the 4th century, the Roman road network had reached its zenith. This led to the creation of the Itinerarium Antonini, a document cataloging the empire's major roads and 225 stopping stations. Although not a map in the traditional sense, it served as a comprehensive travel guide. Travelers could extract specific routes and distances from this document, making it a valuable resource for navigating the empire. Milestones, on-the-road navigation. A key feature of Roman roads was the system of milestones. Positioned at regular intervals, these markers reassured travelers of their direction and progress. Each milestone indicated the distance to or from a major city, such as Rome. The golden milestone, placed in the center of Rome, symbolized the heart of the empire. Travelers could calculate their journeys based on these milestones, ensuring they always knew how far they had traveled and how much farther they needed to go. Visual itineraries and the evolution of maps. While written itineraries dominated Roman travel, there is evidence of visual representations, such as the Tabula Peutingeriana. This 7-meter-long document depicted routes from Britain to India, including geographical features like rivers and mountains. Although not geographically accurate, it served as a topological diagram, emphasizing connections and travel durations. This approach is reminiscent of modern subway maps, which prioritize clarity over exact geography. The Tabula Peutingeriana represents a significant step toward modern mapping. Its inclusion of intersections, labeled distances, and geographic features made it a valuable tool for governors and military leaders. However, it was likely inaccessible to ordinary travelers who continued to rely on simpler itineraries. Roman pragmatism in travel and navigation. The Romans were highly pragmatic in their approach to travel. They prioritized functionality over unnecessary complexity. If a written itinerary could suffice for navigation, there was no need for detailed cartography. This practical mindset ensured that the empire's vast territories remained connected and manageable. Thanks for watching. If the Romans could navigate 3 continents without Google Maps, surely you can navigate to the like button, right? Don't forget to subscribe. Unlike Roman milestones, our videos won't tell you how far away the next one is. Share this with your friends, and let's keep the ancient travel vibes alive, minus the wax tablets.